I run this. I run this. I don't care how high you holding that daggone flag. This is my juke joint. This is my show. This is my party.
That said that if that Hunter Biden laptop story
have any arguments against that right now, and I want to see how it goes. If you think that Vivek Ramaswamy is too young, pull up.
I'm not going to change my age except for one more time before the general election. I already changed it once 3 days ago. So I turned 38. Before I'm president, I'll be 39. But that'll be my last flip-flop on age. But it's going to be up to the people to decide whether or not they believe that, yes, a member of a new generation can actually, who would have ever thought, be the one who chases our future instead of chasing our past. Thank you. Well, I mean, the truth is, if
they asked him what it's been told to them that he will not settle for a cabinet position, nor will he settle for a vice president position. He said, critics say that you're only in it for president, just to be the president, not necessarily to see the country do better or anything like that. You just want to be the man in charge. You just want to be that guy. But if you had to play another role, he said, nah, I ain't gonna do that.
If I were building my political career, of course I would do that. I'm not building a political career. I'm not a politician. I don't do well in a number 2 position. I haven't been in one for a long time. So I think that Trump and I share that in common. I don't think he would accept my offer to be vice president either, but I think he would accept my offer to be an advisor and somebody who guides me through some of the challenges that he's been through to be able to go even further. And that's the relationship I expect us to have for the next several years.
That was a great answer by the guy, man. He said, I don't play number 2 very well. That's just not me. And it's not Trump either. Trump is not a number 2 guy. And I'm not in this to be a politician. I'm just, you know what I mean? I think I will be able to do the most as the president, as the main man. But you know what I mean? That's up to you.
So, thank you. That's not my proposal. My proposal is we need to revive civic duty. That every 18-year-old needs to know something about the country. The same thing about the country that an immigrant has to know in order to become a citizen. I think every kid who graduates from high school should know the same thing. And if not that, then at least serve the country in some minimal way. And you know what? That's going to dramatically cause young voting rates to skyrocket in this country. The reason young people aren't engaged is they don't know something about the country.
Yo, okay. He said the reason that young people are not engaged is because they don't know about the country. They're in it. They're, you know, that's like children. When you think about your children, right? All of them think that money grow on trees. Every single last one of them. Why is that? Because they don't make it. They don't make it. Not until they get older. When they get older and then they start getting children of their own, then they start to see, God dang, this is expensive and that's expensive and that's expensive and that's expensive. So basically what he's saying is that a lot of these youngins, when they hit the age of 18, if they want to vote, they should be able to pass the same test that immigrants have to go through and pass so that they can have that knowledge, so that they can have that understanding, so that they can have that same pride and country before moving on. They should serve in some type of way.
You got to have skin in the game to play in that game. So that's what I'm creating. I don't just feed people what they want to hear. They say, it's the old saying that says, if you care about yourself, you tell people what they want to hear. If you care about people, you tell them the truth. So I don't give people what they want to hear. I tell them the truth. And the reality is we have a crisis of national pride. We have a deep-seated loss of civic knowledge and duty in this country. That's what I'm going to fix.
My brother has vernacular that's crazy. He can come up with anything and just, look, I don't want to tell people what they want to hear, because I ain't thinking about me. I'm thinking about you. So I'm going to tell you the truth. That's like a pimp vernacular. That's something that you say to the ladies. Listen, lady, look, I'm going to take care of you better than anybody, baby. I'll be better than your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. Like, this dude has a vernacular. It's those things, like people who speak very fast, think very quick. And they shouldn't be challenged or demonized for that. And when they're running for political office, something like president, that's when my antennas come up like red flag, red flag, red flag. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be, but it is what it is.
Thank you for that.
Quick question. You said before you aren't going to bash your fellow contenders. Will that strategy change come debate night?
I will be unafraid to draw policy contrasts. And I think some people, you know, in politics and otherwise may have thin skin and think if you draw a policy contrast that that's attacking them. No, it's not. If you can't handle the heat, stay out of the kitchen.
That's right.
But I'm not personally attacking anybody in this race. Now, believe me, I'm somebody who holds my ground, okay? So if somebody's going to come for me, come at your own peril. But I'm not in this race to take somebody else down. I'm in this race to lead us to our vision of what it means to be an American.
Quick follow-up question. Yep. If a fellow contender does not make the debate stage, do you think they should drop out of the race?
I don't have an opinion on the way other people run their races. I'm not running against anybody. I'm running for this nation. That's what I would say.
I like that answer. He will not be backed into a corner. You will not back that man into a corner. You won't. They're trying, though. They really are.
Have you faced...
We'll come here, and then I'm going to wrap, because I'm talking a lot today.
Have you faced racial discrimination during your life, and do you think systemic racism exists in America?
Now, y'all hear what the question is, right? Do you think racism exists in America? And how will you face it? How have you faced it and how will you face it? Wow, this is a good one.
I have faced racial discrimination in my life. It has come from people of diverse races. I don't think racism is limited to one race, actually. But I also don't let it ruin my life. Have I stubbed my toe? Yes, I have. Is it pleasant when your toe is stubbed? No, it is not. But you don't let it ruin your life. So hardship is something that happens to you. Victimhood is a choice. Hardship is not the same thing as victimhood. And I reject the narrative of systemic racism because I think it is a fake, made-up concept to apologize for the failures of actual real systems, like a failing educational system that tells poor kids they're trapped in the zip code that they're born in. Failed systems that drive the fatherlessness epidemic in this country by the government fueling it. Many black kids are born into fatherlessness today, many more than were in 1950. Who created that? Lyndon Johnson and the federal government.
Y'all hear him, he's breaking down facts. He's breaking down facts. But if you're out there in the audience right now, you got something against what he's saying, please hit that link. Not if you got anything for what he's saying, if you got something against what he's saying. And he's talking about systemic racism. He believes it's fabricated. What do you have to say about it?
So they blow woke smoke to deflect accountability for their own failures. I believe in getting to the root cause rather than virtue signaling with fancy made-up terms like systemic racism made to make people feel better about themselves. No, I believe in the truth.
What do you think?
Last question.
He's sharp.
Something you said this morning, if you were to become the nominee, you don't think you'd be running against Joe Biden. Who do you think you'd be running against?
Okay, the young lady asked him, I don't know if you heard her. She says Vivek Ramaswamy mentioned that if he is the nominee to run, he don't think he'll be running against Joe Biden because for whatever reasons. I never heard him say that, but this is a first for me. All right, so this is a good one right here. So she asked him, so who do you think you'll be running against then if you're not going to be running against Joe Biden? So here we go.
Another puppet.
Wow, bruh. Wow. Vivek Ramaswamy, he wants all the smoke, man. My man said he will be running against another puppet. Wow. That's how you feel, bruh? He said, I'm going to be running against another puppet.
Whichever puppet they trot out. I think that they seem to have, on one hand, an affinity for people who are different from the standard trope of biological attributes and genetic attributes of a prior president. So maybe that'd be Michelle Obama. Another president whose last name was Obama, in which case maybe they would go with Gavin Newsom, who seems to be hungering for attention by the day. And, I think that the guy is, going to be, I think if he were within, I think a 10-foot radius of here, I think the magnetic pull would probably pull him in front of this camera too. So I don't know if it's which puppet it's going to be that they trot out, but it's going to be somebody else who's a useful vehicle for the managerial class in this country. And it almost, here's the dirty little secret, doesn't matter who it is. It's going to be somebody who actually continues to advance the interests of the bureaucracy.
He called Newsom an attention whore. Wow.
That's why I'm not focused on criticizing any one of them. That's boring. It's uninspiring. I think what we have to focus on is we actually stand for, not just as conservatives, but as Americans. And more importantly, explain to the people why shutting down those government agencies, why reducing the federal employee headcount, why that will stimulate the economy and restore accountability in government and the integrity of our constitutional republic. If we do that, we win this election in a landslide. And that is what I expect to deliver. I expect to be the nominee. I expect I will not be running against Biden. And I expect that whoever I run against, I will defend this nation's values and win in a landslide, because I'm not talking about my opponents. I'm talking about what we are running to.